Well, pumpkins aren't just orange anymore, which is very obvious if you take a look at our pumpkin patch. We have several new cultivars of white pumpkins, and if you've followed along with us on Oklahoma Gardening, you know our pumpkins are very, very late this year thanks to some insect and disease problems. We had to replant so many times that we didn't get a stand until a planting around the first week of August. So the pumpkins are very small and really aren't going to mature probably before we get that first frost, which is unfortunate. But the pumpkin that I have in my hand here is Casper, which is a white variety. It's about 105 days to reach its maturity. When it is pretty immature though, it kind of has a bluish green tint to it, which you can see here on this particular one. Again, several days from maturity, around 105 days. Now, Casper is going to turn more of a whitish color as it matures. We can compare that over here to another white one, which is Lumina, and it kind of has a shiny color to it as well, and also will turn whiter and doesn't take quite as long to mature as a Casper. The Lumina is around 100 days, but you know, when you're given a week's difference in them, depending on the growing season, they may both mature at the same time. So that's why you need to back up from the day that you want them ready so many days in transplanting or seed, however you're going to put them in, to make sure you get them enough time to mature on you. Now both of them are very aggressive as far as their vines. You can see the back two plants are the Lumina and the front two are Casper. And those are just 4 plants that are taking up an entire space here, so they're very, very aggressive as far as the vines. Now the size of them are going to be around 10 to 12 pounds, which isn't too big. They're going to be traditional pie pumpkins, and we've cut one open here too for you to see how far off we are before it ever matures. It will eventually turn a pumpkin orange color inside, so it will darken up a lot more even though the outside is white. Again, traditional use for the pie pumpkins. So these are some of the larger white ones. Now let's go take a look at some of the smaller white ones. We have more of our space-saving pumpkins over here on our trellis, which grows very successfully, but the baby boo, which is the one we have here, really is not big enough to even need to support the pumpkin itself. Now it'll probably remind you of the smaller orange ones that are sometimes called munchkin or Jack B. Little. The only difference obviously is it's white again, so it's a nice option. These are really ready for us. The stems are hard and we're able to cut them and harvest them. We have smaller ones, and really they didn't reach quite as big a size as they could have because the plant went down because of the disease downy mildew. So we really didn't get it under control, and insect problems too. But the plant, you'll see another one coming here with green foliage. That's a hyacinth bean that has reseeded from obvious seed that was here a year ago. It's starting to come up, a little bit different plant. But the miniature pumpkins like this are a lot better in some cases because you can get them in 80 days harvest time versus like 100, 105 with the other ones we just talked about. So there's a lot of options and colors, and all of these we've talked about, really the magazines, the garden supply companies, and even your garden centers carry a lot of these options. So maybe something different for you to try next year. Now let's go over and look at some other fall crops and show you how that's coming along with our cole crops. We reserved this raised bed for our fall garden with our cole crops, and they're coming along nicely. Now there's all kinds of interesting cultivars again that are crosses, and that's kind of what we're experimenting with. This particular one is an Italian broccoli or Romanesco, and I've been looking, I don't see any kind of the heads beginning to form yet, but it appears that it's going to start here any time, and it's a little bit longer season than some of the others, but I think we're going to be in good shape and still get some protection out of this particular one. Unlike the one next to it, which is broccoli Raab, and it's supposedly a cross between broccoli and kohlrabi. And we've tried this one back in the spring as a cole crop and again this fall, and both times it's bolted on us, and I don't see anything really that looks too promising. Maybe the foliage would be more edible, but I don't think this is one that we're really going to try again. Now the one over next to it is called a green lance, and this one is really a member of the Chinese kale family. So the stalks that you're seeing come out of here look like it's bolting, but if you get them a little bit earlier, you can harvest and actually eat the foliage, the stalks, and even the seeds and flowers that form a little bit after that, and it would be more of a stir fry. So it's something a little bit different. Again, more of the Chinese kale family. Now you'll see a lot of cole crops that are crosses again, especially between cauliflower and broccoli, and this one is called Floccoli, and there's all kinds of names out there on the market again. Broccoli, you'll see them in the grocery stores even, but it actually, when you feel of it, it feels more like cauliflower, but looking at it, it looks more like broccoli or a pale broccoli, and it really is a nice head. We've harvested some already that are much bigger in size than this one, but when you harvest them, as you can see from some around here on the side even with that head, don't cut too far down because you can get some side shoots out of them that form nice little buttons and still a nice crop for you to harvest a little bit later, give you plenty of production from the side shoots. So there's really a lot of exciting things out there with these particular types. Now, if you've paid attention with us over the growing season with our vegetables, you hear me refer to a lot about cole crops, which would be things like Brussels sprouts and cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, some of the kale, various things like that are all in the same family. And when we talk about them, we use the same cultural practices and interchange a lot of those things.
We hope you've enjoyed this classic from the Oklahoma Gardening Vault. Remember, even though these tips and techniques are timeless, there's always something new to learn in the world of gardening. By subscribing to both Oklahoma Gardening and OK Gardening Classics, you'll have access to a wealth of gardening knowledge, both classic and contemporary.